what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to JLerone Presents, where we talk about facts, foolishness, and black female efforting. Today's video, we're going to be looking at the incident that happened with Rainey Jr., who plays Tyreek from Power. Last week, I believe, he was on a podcast, and everybody's been talking about it, how he was groped by this 22-year-old female, which was Little Ty. I guess that's the guy named Little Ty, Ty Little, his sister, right? So a lot of people has been talking about this, saying that, he shouldn't have been laughing, and it wasn't, people trying to make it seem like it wasn't really sexual assault because he's a guy and he was laughing and all this stuff. But men are, or can be, men have been, subject to sexual assault, right? Just because you're a man doesn't mean that you cannot be sexually assaulted or SA'd. So we got to come away. We got to stop thinking that men don't get that type of violence, put on them. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to go ahead and take a listen to the video. I pulled the clip from Theo Coop and the Do Better podcast where he covered it. And also I pulled a clip from Fox 26 News in Houston where they talked about it. They had a therapist, a sexual therapist. I think that's what she is on here. And yeah, she's a trauma therapist, my bad. And she talks about it too. So let's go ahead and get into this real quick. If you guys haven't, go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe, share. It helps the channel grow. And let's go ahead and get into it.
And thank you for staying up late with us. We have a great program planned for you and some great guests tonight here on The Factor Uncensored. Let's get right down to business. This is an important reminder tonight. Men can also be victims of sexual assault, in case you didn't know. An actor says he's still processing what happened to him after a woman grabbed him inappropriately on a live stream. This happened Sunday on a Twitch live stream for an influencer named Ty Jones. Actor Rainey Jr., who is from Power, can be seen in the background when a woman who has been identified as James' sister walks up to him and appears to grab him by the private area. You can see it on Rainey's face. He looked very uncomfortable by the encounter. Today, he released a statement saying he's in shock and that, quote, sexual assault is never okay regardless of gender or status. We're all human and we should respect each other. Most importantly, we should respect ourselves. Joining us to talk about it, trauma therapist Chow Win. So Chow, when you took a look at that video, what went through your mind?
Well, the reaction on his face, the disbelief and the freezing, that's considered a trauma response. We either fight, flight, freeze, we fawn, and it looked like he was freezing. He didn't know what to do. He was touched inappropriately. That is sexual violence. And men are victimized by sexual violence as well. 1 in 4, they say, in their lifetime. It's a spectrum. It can be anything from touching to penetration.
And so how do you make the public and people in general take that seriously? Because you think of a male, you should be able to handle it. You should be able to walk away or confront the person and say, don't do it again. But there should be
recourse. There should be accountability. Look, when a man is touched inappropriately, and we live in a culture that says men have to man up, and there's this issue that, men should be the strong one, it creates a lot of shame and stigma. A lot of men don't even speak up about being sexually violated or a victim of sexual violence because of the cultural stigma and shame around the message that, oh, if you're going to be sexually assaulted as a man, it's okay because you're a man, or you should have spoken out or gotten tough. I mean, we do see these cases. Men are victims of violence. They do come forward, and when they come forward, they often say, are you sure I can talk about it? Are you sure I can address it? Because they're embarrassed. They don't know what to say. They freeze.
And when you have a case like this, when initially the one who held the live stream online, he was like, what's the big deal? Obviously, it was his sister. What's the big deal? I don't see what the problem is. He walked that back later and said he would never condone anything like that.
The streamer Lil Ty or Ty Little, I gotta learn this dude's name. He made a video in response to it. Not the greatest look, but we'll go over.
Word of my mother, I'm trying to literally ignore this shit. But I'm getting texts, the energy shifted, and niggas just got up and left. Like, all that shit really made me, like, all those side of that shit really made me feel away. Because one, when people come, this is your crib. It's about hospitality. That means everything. Stop telling me to ignore it, because when I was trying to ignore it, y'all dick riders was spamming it. That shit really got me really feeling away, because, bro, I be around celebrities all day. You feel what I'm saying? Like, even when I first started being my first few celebrities, don't get me wrong, I do unusual shit. No homo, like nothing crazy. Like, I'll be like, yo, like, I be trying to record, get a video, a picture, whatever. But due time, you feel what I'm saying? That shit don't really mean nothing to you. We all equal, we all the same. But she never seen somebody that caliber, so she start, you feel what I'm saying? And that's my sister, so, like, I'm not gonna say nothing bad about her. I'm gonna just check and tell her, like, you don't gotta be on it. We all the same, we all human. If he's here for me, he's here for you.
And I don't know how young this dude is, but I'm gonna tell you right now, your youth, lack of understanding the position that you're in, is showing right now. I understand that's your sister. You don't want to throw your sister under the bus, but you said if he's here for you, he's here for her. That man is there to go on your live stream. That's what he's there for, because you have a significant platform, and he has showed that he has to promote. One hand washes the other. Your lack of not understanding the significance of this situation is telling. You absolutely should watch who you have around you, man, including your family member. I don't know.
And a lot of people are like, you know, what's the big deal?
What's the big deal? What's the big deal is somebody touched somebody else without his consent. We have to do a better job of talking about consent, right? This is my body, this is your body. You're not allowed to touch it without my permission. And it's unfortunate that his initial reaction was, what's the big deal? That is, to me, an imprint, a reflection on sort of the cultural stereotypes when it comes to men and women and sexual violence.
And of course you have that double standard there, because people would have been up in arms if it was a female, you know, if she was grabbed in a private area like that.
If she was a female, if that was a female that was grabbed, we're probably going to bring the police in. Here we're talking about it, and I'm glad you're giving people a platform to talk about it. But you're right, the standards are not the same. They're not equal. She might have been, the police might have called, there was an investigation here. It's like, and the poor actor, what did he say? I'm still processing it. He's still in shock. He froze. And he might have to suffer the ramifications because it went so public. I mean, listen, the aftermath of sexual violence is the same for men and women. PTSD, anxiety, depression, avoiding places, flashbacks, nightmares. Can you imagine having to live with a lifetime of that? If you're a man, it doesn't matter.
So I believe this was Ty's first response initially, and then more than likely his manager and PR and people who are likely wiser than him got a hold of him, and he had an issue with state. Let's see what we got. Ty Lil James issues an apology to Michael Rainey Jr. after his sister inappropriately touches him. I completely respect whatever decision Michael wants to go in the situation. His post reads, after the actions that occurred during my stream last night, I would like to sincerely apologize to Michael and his family for what took place. My little sister was completely wrong and out of line. What she did was very inappropriate and unacceptable. I am truly embarrassed and disgusted by her actions. I completely respect whatever direction Michael wants to go in this situation. After watching the clip, I was completely taken back by what she's done. This is some good PR. I will take extreme precautions with future streams to avoid similar issues and have banned her from participating in future streams. I do not condone any type of assault.
Do we think the definition matches the term? I think a lot of people lose it there, because if you just touch someone, then you say that's sexual assault.
Right.
And I said just, but if you touch someone, they'll say that's sexual assault. When I think of sexual assault, and when many of us think of sexual assault, and you hear it, you think of rape or something like that, not touching someone. Do you think that's part of the problem?
It is, and this is an opportunity to continue to educate people about sexual assault. It's a spectrum. It starts with touching, it ends at rape, and anybody can be a victim of sexual assault, sexual violence. It's an act that is performed without your consent.
And is it part of our problem as men who say, look, you should be able to handle that, chin up?
It is the cultural stereotype of masculinity and what we call toxic masculinity. Man up, do this. We've got to do a better job of talking about this at a very young age, talking about healthy behaviors and how we treat each other. Like that actor said, just as human beings, equal respect.
And a lot of fathers and mothers have this conversation with their daughters? Do you think it's something that now should include their sons?
It should have included their sons long ago.
But we know historically it has not.
It hasn't, and it continues to not. But we've got to talk to girls, just as we talk to girls about taking care of their bodies and protecting their bodies, we have to talk to boys about the same thing, because by and large, it's happening.
Now,
so, okay, in this last little clip we're going to have here now, Theo was, he showed a video of this lady on TikTok where she was talking about Ty little sister, whatever his name is, and she was trying to portray it as this woman who's 22 years old. She was trying to make it seem like she was too young to know what she was doing, and also she's trying to downplay the fact that since Michael Rainey Jr. was kind of laughing, that he shouldn't have laughed, is what she was saying. So she wasn't trying to really hold the 22-year-old woman accountable. She was trying to make it seem like she was too young to know what she was doing, and the fact that she had a problem with Michael Rainey Jr. laughing about it. Men can laugh. It's a trauma response, and as you're going to hear after this clip of this lady talking, I'm going to show you another clip of this trauma counselor. She's going to talk about, men's trauma response, and just because they laugh or just because you get aroused over something like that, you're still being victimized. You're still being assaulted. So it doesn't matter what your response is. The fact that you were, touched or groped without your consent, that's still a violation. All right. So you guys, let's go ahead and get into this next clip.
So right when I was finished editing this video, I found this random clip of this woman, and she talks for nearly 6 minutes. And I just cut out a portion of it that I wanted you guys to hear. But for the majority of the 6 minutes, all she kept talking about was the kids, like the smaller kids, shouldn't have been in the room, which I understand it, but it's totally missing the point. Professional point missers. Clear example. Let's listen to what she has to say.
Bold. Y'all not only just some fast-tailed girls, but y'all is bold. Because see, we used to be scared to be that fast. We used to flirt a little bit, but what that young lady did, and bless her heart, and I can't blame her. I can only blame people who ain't teaching.
Remember, this is a 22-year-old woman. Her entire spiel, she kept talking about this grown woman as if she was an infant, infantile, and I don't even know if that's a word. She's trying to downplay that woman's actions by making her seem much younger than she actually is. It's a grown woman, and from the comments I read, she's a grown woman with 2 children.
And it's not just the teaching, because there's these influences of the world. That's why I be making videos about certain influences and people who the world is pushing to a specific group of people. That's why I be talking about stuff like that. Although the young man, Michael Rainey, he was visibly uncomfortable, but he was doing too much giggling for me. Because for me, there's so much here. For me, I just felt like he should have did a better job. Like, yo, hey, get your sister. Like, I felt like he was uncomfortable and he just didn't know how to handle it. But I felt like if he had been a little bit more authoritative with it and saying, yo, get your sister.
Victim blaming.
Hey, like, it was too much giggling for me. It was too much giggling going on for me. And I'm not blaming him, but why is you cackling? What's funny? Because that wasn't funny, especially if you felt uncomfortable. Why are you giggling?
And that exact same situation had happened, and it was a woman. She wouldn't be sitting here saying this nonsense. Again, they don't take it serious. This woman spilled for nearly 6 minutes. Her biggest points that she was trying to make is that kids shouldn't have been in the room. Then also when it comes to the actual perpetrator of this crime, she says, God bless her heart. It really goes back to the people that led her. Again, a 22-year-old woman, 2 children, allegedly.
if you're caught in a situation like this, Chow, that we saw Michael Rainey in this incident, how would you handle that if you were Michael Rainey?
I think he handled it the best he can, which is being forthcoming.
Once you have your bearings, put it that way, and you're not shocked anymore.
Right.
That person is still there, still being aggressive. How would you handle that?
Oh, to say no, you
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
in that moment? You know, he froze. It's a trauma response. That's what his limbic system went into. He didn't do anything wrong. He did come back and say, look, it's wrong. I'm not sure if he could have done anything more than he did. He was just shocked. And we see that very often. There's one other point I want to make, and people get so confused about this. Look, sexual violence also creates sexual arousal. That doesn't mean you wanted it. It means your body says, oh, I'm aroused. And it gets very confusing for men who may get aroused because they've been sexually violated. Even for women, we see that. So we've got to do a better job of just educating our public that just because you were sexually aroused or you froze and you didn't do anything doesn't mean that was consent.
All right, Chow Win, thank you for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored tonight. Always good to see you.
All right, you guys, that was what y'all think about that, man. Like I was saying before, guys can be violated. A lot of times, you know, a lot of people think that you can't because you're a man. But men get violated all the time, man, especially when we were young. I mean, I remember times growing up, man, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, grown women, you know, in their mid-20s, mid-30s, you know, oh, you such a cutie, you so-and-so's little boy, ain't you? Or ain't so-and-so your older brother, you know, or your older sister. So-and-so your older sister, or you so-and-so's cousin, or this chick is your auntie. It was, I mean, you know, and they just be, you know, here my little, you know, you had like women in their 30s, you know, going up to guys that are 14, 13. Oh, this is my little boyfriend, hugging them and kissing them and, you know, shit like that. I mean, y'all, some of the stuff is just over the top. A lot of it was over the top. So you guys got to pay attention to what these women are doing to little boys, to minors. You know what I'm saying? They might think it's cute, you know what I'm saying, but it's really not. It's actually a violation. Cause just think about it. Just flip the switch, flip the script. If you got 20-something, 30-year-old men going up to 13-year-old little girls, hugging them and kissing them, talking about, this is my little girlfriend. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's stupid stuff like that, right? They think because women do it to boys that it's not, but it is. It's crazy. But we see it all the time, but we ignore it because we say that they're boys. But boys get traumatized too. Even though, you know, when you were young and a grown woman would come up and hug you and kiss on you and stuff like that and put their arm around you and, you know, hold your hand and pretend that y'all dating. Guys would say, oh man, you know, he's scoring. You know what I'm saying? He got it going on. He got him an older woman, but that's still trauma. We might look at it and big up the dude for you know being attracted or having an older woman being attracted to him, but we're young. We don't know no better. You know what I'm saying? So, but the older women, they know better and they don't realize what they're doing. We don't know it's trauma to us. We just think we got it going on. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's actually trauma, and that's actually young men are being violated. So, you guys, drop some comments down below and let me know what you think. Yeah, it's a shame that men are not being taken seriously when it comes to this. So, yeah, like I said before, drop some comments. Let me know what you think. It's your boy JLerone. JLerone Presents. Please be good to yourself. By all means, let's be good to one another. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.